Hey, how's everybody today? I am going to wait a little bit to see if I get somebody to join in. I hope everybody's doing really, really well and you're having a great start to your Friday. I wanted to give you time to come on. Hey, how you doing? It's good to see everybody. Today's going to be a bit personal, and I guess you could kind of tell from the title it is, but I figure sometimes that's the best way to share with you guys why and how I got into health coaching, because not everybody knows my story, but I think once you do understand, you'll see the place where I'm coming from. Hey, Kenley. Hey, Adrian. It's good to see you guys. Adrian. So some of you guys know or don't know, but I was diagnosed with IBS probably, I don't know, I guess it was about 8 years ago. And I was literally running on the treadmill, and I'm going to tell my little story here. So I was running on the treadmill. I was in Pennsylvania, and I was having issues with my digestive system. I was having diarrhea and things like that all the time. It felt like it was horrible. I think some people know, but they may not, that I was diagnosed with C. diff from an antibiotic that I had gotten or been prescribed years ago when my oldest son, who's now 11, was about 9 months old. And I ended up getting C. diff, and it really jacked up my digestive system. Well, as years continued to go on, and I didn't know how to repair the damage from C. difficile, which is horrible, and that's something that I do help and coach people through, because you don't have to be susceptible to all of that, but or all of the symptoms that come along with it. So I'm in the doctor's office, just so you know, and I'm literally telling them about the fact that my bowels will not stop running. It's not diarrhea like I'm sick. It's literally like I'm on the treadmill, and all of a sudden, if I don't get to the bathroom, I'm gonna poop on myself. And literally that was what happened. I had to leave the gym, and I was like, something is wrong. So I go to the doctor. They're like, you're the symptoms that you're having, I think you have IBS. And at that time, I was enough to know that a syndrome is not necessarily a disease. So we're at this place where you're like, okay, we're gonna mitigate this with medicine. But I was like, yeah, no, yep, Dre, yes, it was those faces are exactly how I felt. I was like, something is really wrong. So I literally was like, I'm not about to take medication for the rest of my life, because you're giving me a pill, but you're not getting to the root of the problem. I knew that enough. I wasn't a health coach at the time. I was like, but I know that. I know enough to know that taking a pill is not changing what's going to happen. So I've got to change my diet, my lifestyle, something. So I decided, let's go and start researching what needs to be done, what I have to do. And this was actually well before we had so much information out there. Like, we didn't have Dr. Axe at that time. He didn't have his website out in this way. I mean, we did have Dr. McCullough, and I know I looked at a lot of stuff that he had out there. But just so you know, it wasn't as readily available just to go find information. So I'm at the doctor's office. I said, give me 6 months. I'll come back to you. If in 6 months nothing is better, I'll take your medication. But I've got to figure this out. So I started researching IBS, and literally that's like changes in bowels. They don't really know why. It's not like you're going to get a diagnosis that they can take a test and all that kind of stuff. So it's like diarrhea or constipation, the color of your stool, the texture, that kind of thing. Basically, constipation is anything classified less than 3 bowel movements a week, or when you go to the bathroom that you don't feel like you're finished. So that's kind of like the definition, so you understand that. Gas, bloating, burping, gas. I remember, this is kind of embarrassing. Like I told you, I'm gonna be straight and honest with you guys. I remember trying to read stories to my kids that were really little at that time, like were like 3 and 5. And I was like, they would read, and then I would have like gas. And of course I would pass gas, trying not to like get up every 5 minutes. And they were like, Mommy, you really stinky. It was like, it felt horrible. So then what happens, the reason why I said that is because one of the other symptoms of like IBS is anxiety and depression, because you feel like if I'm in situations where I'm around people, you tend to become less social, all of that kind of stuff. So it was basically Yep, Dre, it was pretty bad. It was gross, it was bad, but you know what? Praise God that I am not in that situation again. Like, that is what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling people my story, and I'm helping you understand that you don't have to be there. You don't have to take a pill. You can start doing some of the things that I did to get to that next place. But basically, my kids said that, like I said, anxiety and depression. The other part about it is that you can have trouble sleeping. A lot of times just because of the stomach upset kind of thing, you can have headaches. And anytime you have digestion issues or you have headaches, a lot of times I tell people, are you dehydrated? And then also, sorry, I paused for a second, someone called me. So too much toxins or things going on in the body. Also, you can have like an unpleasant taste in your mouth, and your sex drive can be low. And trust me, unfortunately, that was the case because part of it was anxiety that I was going to pass gas at a very intimate time, or worse, have something happen. So it affects so many areas of people's lives, that it's, it wasn't something that I quote unquote asked for, in the sense of like, oh, I want to get C. diff from a medication that totally changed the way my digestive system worked. So you can have body image issues, especially if you're someone who, like me, like to work out all the time, different things like that. And guess what? My stomach was bloated. So I'm like, okay, I'm working hard, but my stomach looks horrible. I mean, it was a whole host of things that came with it. Sometimes you need to urinate more frequently. There are so many things with IBS that can be troublesome. And I encourage anyone who's joining on now to go back to the beginning to listen to some of the things that I'm saying, because you may not know what's going on with you. You might think this is normal, or why is this happening all of a sudden? Or because you're so embarrassed, you don't want to talk to somebody about it. But, I asked some people what are things that they want to know about. And some of my clients and other people said, talk about IBS and how you overcame that syndrome. And so I will say that that's one of the things that, those are some of the symptoms, and that's just a short list. I don't like to keep you guys on too long, but you can also have heart palpitations. I think I said the unpleasant taste in your mouth, and then the need to urinate. So here's what are some of the things that you can do to help with it. And I think I'm going to take each subsequent week and kind of break all of these things down. So it would kind of like be my IBS month of March. All right. So if you know someone who's dealing with IBS, or you yourself are dealing with IBS, even if you don't know for sure, remember real quick, I'm going to say change in bowel movements, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, burping, gas, cramps, reflux, heartburn, that kind of thing, even nausea, throwing up. IBS, anxiety or depression based upon those things that are going on in your life, trouble sleeping, headaches, unpleasant taste in the mouth, sex drive is low, body image issues, heart palpitations, which I had those as well, and then urinate frequently. If you have any of those things, or friends that talk about that, or don't know what's going on, this might be a series that you want to invite them to watch for the month of March. But the things real quick I'm going to go over, and we're going to go in detail next week and the following weeks, are how you can help cure yourself of IBS naturally. All right. So I'm a big natural girl. You know me, I'm all about my oils. I'm all about taking things that are natural before. I'm not saying that there's not a place for Western medicine and pharmaceuticals that help, but if I can do something naturally, I'm going to try that first. So a food mop diet is really important, or actually figuring out what foods actually help you get over the food allergies. And thanks, Dre, I appreciate it. Yes, I am doing much better. Trust me, I'm well past years past this, but I feel like I just want to help some people. So the food mop diet is really important, and if you don't know about that, you can look it up. But like I said, I will be going over it in detail next week. Enzymes, taking digestive enzymes. When your body is lacking the digestive enzymes to break the food down properly, you have big chunks of food sitting in your intestines, and that just ferments like ew. That's why the gas smells so bad, is because you have fermenting food in your digestive system, and it's not getting out, especially if you have constipation and things like that. Reducing the stress. I know you're like, how do you do that? Well, there are definitely ways and things you can do to decrease stress in your life. Exercise, we'll talk about it in more detail. Like I said, I'm just kind of going over some of the things. Exercise will help to improve your digestion. So getting out and doing a brisk walk, weightlifting, aerobic exercise, whatever is going to benefit you and the body. And we'll talk in detail about how exercise can be helpful for IBS. I know this is going to sound gross, but if you really are at the higher end, especially if you had C. difficile like I did, and you really are not able to repopulate your gut with good bacteria, and we'll talk in detail about that as well. Fecal matter transplants, and I know that sounds gross, but it's basically taking the fecal matter from someone who is healthy and has the gut flora that they need in that fecal matter, and they actually do a like colonoscopy kind of transplant, and that will actually help to repopulate your colon and your intestinal tract to be able to then go in and start building that healthy flora again. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then basically like healing like a leaky gut syndrome, and we can do things like that with healing. Oh, Misty, you got some, okay, yeah, please do go back from the beginning and we can talk live, you and I as well. But healing leaky gut is basically things like bone broth and black seed oil, not flax, but black, BLACK, seed oil. Other things that can be helpful we'll talk about in general, but the diet is really, really, really paramount to all of this. So you guys, I'm not going to hold you long. You know, I'm a busy lady. You're busy men and women out there with lives. Nobody has time for, a 45-minute health show each week, but I'm giving you snippets. And all I'm asking you to do is please share the joy with other people. You can share the joy by just sharing this. You can share the joy by going to my YouTube channel and sharing the YouTube version of this, because I upload them every week. Or you can go to my website at www.doallthingswithjoy.com, and the Facebook feed is on my website every week. So if you've missed past episodes and things like that, you can always go in and check those out as well. So I appreciate everybody jumping in today. If you're coming on late, please watch the replay of this. You might not be dealing with pooping your pants while you're running on a treadmill. You might not be, dealing with constipation or stomach cramping or embarrassing gas, but you might have a friend and they might not want to say it because they're embarrassed. Trust me, I was embarrassed by it. I mean, you're walking around, you think you're halfway cute and all that kind of stuff, and then you're like, I got this problem and I feel like I got gas all the time and issues. And so I just want you guys to know you are not alone. It is my specialty as a health coach to help people with digestive issues. I've dealt with many people that have had things from gallbladders removed to Crohn's disease to ulcerative colitis. Literally, that's what I'm here for. I see, Jennifer, you're saying something. Got issues. It's so common. Processed food world. Thank you for your thorough talk. You're welcome. I'm just trying to let you know what I know as best I can so that you guys can be healthy. So I know this was a longer Do All Things with Joy this week, but I kind of shared some of my personal life with you. And I hope that you share this with others because, like I said, some people might be feeling like they're out here all alone, and they're not. And there are answers naturally, and you don't have to take a pill. But you know what I never told you? I went back in 6 months, and my doctor was so impressed that she got my business card. She had another doctor come in and talk to me, and she was like, the other thing I had, great, was acne all over my face. And that'll probably be like April's thing because I had so much acne or the digestive issues. Acne is really an issue with what's going on digestively with you. Whole nother story. But she was like, oh my gosh, the acne that's on your face has really cleared up because my digestion had been improved. And hey, Sonia, so good to see you. I'm about to end now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me a question or say anything. I'm sitting here looking at your posts coming up, and if you have any specific questions before I jump off, that's what a live is for. So if not, without further ado, I will bid you farewell until next week. But let people know, because I am going to do, like I said, the IBS series for most of March until I'm finished, until I give you guys some information that can help you and other people. All right. So if I don't see any more questions or anything out there, I'm going to say peace and blessings. Love you guys. Bye-bye.